Today in this video, I want to talk to you guys about the mechanics of manifestation, which is pretty simple, but we tend to complicate things. And I think that the number one thing that most people are missing is the understanding that we are multi-dimensional beings and that reality is not created in the physical plane only. And so the question that I have for you guys is that if you understand everything about laws, universal laws, law of attraction, manifestation, and your life still hasn't changed, that is because internally nothing has changed. You see, the number one mistake that most people do is that they focus on the physical reality only. And by focusing on the physical reality only, they are missing the very beginning of creation, because creation starts first in the mental plane. So there are many mental planes, but just summing it up so it's not too complicated for you guys, there is the physical, the mental, and the spiritual plane. The physical plane is where most people play the game of reality. They just think that they have to do more, that they have to get one more strategy, that they have to put more effort into it. And by operating this way, it leads to a lot of burnout and it leads to a lot of frustration because the change of things are very slow or it requires so much out of you. What most people are lacking to understand is that creation is first done into the mental and the spiritual plane. The spiritual plane is the essence of everything. It's your connection with the higher power, with God. Without the divine essence, life wouldn't exist. Think about it as the baking powder. Without that, nothing would grow. Think about a seed. Without the divine essence encoded in the seed wouldn't grow. So the first thing that you have to do is to connect with the spiritual realm. And I'm not talking here about praying or like just meditating and just going inwards and spending your whole life in there. No, because reality is also happening in the physical and physical. So the key to quantum jump is to really align the three minds, knowing that the minds that hold the most power in reality creation is the mental and the spiritual. When you align yourself with the spiritual mind, with the spiritual plane, it means that you understand your co-creation powers and you're not misusing your own powers to create the very reality that you don't want to experience. You see, most people, they are unaware of their co-creation power and they are begging for God, for a change, for a miracle, not knowing that they are a fractal of God. And if your desires are genuine, are connected to love, God already said yes to all of your creations. And so when you're begging, you are saying like, I want. All you're saying is, I don't have, I lack, I lack, I lack. Therefore, you will lack. Whatever you are assuming, you are creating. And so when we look at the mental plane of reality, some people think, oh, I'm just going to think positive. That's what it means. No, it's not. Because the mental plane is governed by, yes, your conscious decision and your focus, what you're focusing on, but more so the subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind is the biggest shareholder of the mental plane of existence. And without, like, it governs 95% of your actions, of your day, of whatever is happening in your life. Think about that. Only 5% of your day you're really like conscious. Everything else is operated by the subconscious mind. And that's not a bad thing, because think if you had to learn how to drive every single day, if you had to learn how to write every single day. So the subconscious, it exists for a reason. It's not working against you, but you need to learn how to work with it so it can work for you and not against you. And most people are not aware of how this subconscious really works, and they're just trying to do robotic affirmations, which is most of the times very ineffective depending on how big of a jump you want to give. Yeah, if you want to just manifest a little bit of money here and that's not a big of a deal. But if you have a big impact, a big quantum jump from one reality to another, you must understand that your subconscious mind and nervous system seeks to familiarity. It wants to keep you safe in a familiar hell over unfamiliar heaven. So if you always lived in scarcity, always lived with struggles, and you want to live to be a millionaire, for example, your subconscious mind is going to understand like, that's not normal. I don't know how to deal with millionaire problems. Also, if you become a millionaire, you're going to disconnect from your roots, and survival is more important. Love is more important than that you're saying that you want. And that inner conversation is not happening on the conscious level. It's all happening below the surface. And that's why awareness is the only way out of this game. Is it really the only way? If you're not aware, that's why Jung said, unless you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you call it fate. So to really master the game of quantum jumping, of manifestation, you have to change your internal state first. Align yourself, connect yourself with the divine, with the spiritual realm first. Because once you do connect with the spiritual realm, you relax. Relaxing meaning it's not that you're not doing anything, you're doing it, but you are having the insights directly from source, which source is guiding you throughout the path of least resistance. And once you have connection with source, you can build trust. When you build trust, you don't let your reality, your five senses, have any control over you. That's why Jesus, he was unshakable when he was in that boat and the storm was happening. That's the lesson we need to understand. If you're letting your circumstances have control over you, over your state of being, you're screwed up, because your state of being is what's creating reality. And so you are in this infinite mirror where you look at reality and it dictates your state of being. You look at your bank account, you don't have the money, and that dictates your state of being. I don't have it. I have to work harder. I have to figure this out because I don't have it. Creating more of the same. Creating more of the same. And so in the other side of it, like I said in the beginning of this video, most people completely ignore the physical and the mental, and they strictly stay in the physical reality, in the physical realm. They completely ignore the spiritual and the mental, and they solo focus on the physical. But if you're taking action from the same identity, you will still broadcast the same type of opportunities, circumstances, and people. You want to master the game of manifestation, of reality creation, of quantum jumping, you need to understand the rules of the game that you're playing. You need to stop focusing solo on the physical, because your understanding of creation is seeing proof in the physical reality, but that's the last piece of the creation. Creation, for the universal laws, what is it? It's creation first in the state of being. And by doing that, you don't have to reject the 3D. Yes, the 3D is there, but just trying to pretend it's not there, deep inside you know it's there. Deep inside you know it's bugging you. So how do? You acknowledge it. You understand the rules of this game. You connect with the higher powers. And you don't let what is control what will be, because you are not going to reflect on the mirror. You're not going to let the physical have power over the mental and spiritual. It's the opposite. You're playing this game wrong. This is how you can quantum leap fast. It is by changing your state of being first, changing the interferences that the subconscious mind is placing on the mental plane in your frequency.